Hi everyone, it's Isabel from Blue Sapphire here. Back again. Seem to have had a lot of time to make videos recently, which I do enjoy. So I posted a video yesterday about how I was re-evaluating my channel and what I was going to put on. And one of the things I was a bit wary of was doing deck unboxings and walkthroughs. And reviews in that sense at the moment. I feel like a proper review, I need to know the decks. So, but then a package has literally just arrived in the last half an hour, and I figured I'd share it with you. So this is an unboxing, but I'm going to try and do it as me unpacking the box and what I find out and what I see. I'm not going to try and evaluate it in relation to other decks. I'm quite excited by this. So here's my box, if you can see. So I'm sat here, I'm not sure what the angle's like. So this is quite heavy, which is unexpected because there should only be one deck in here. So this is a deck that as soon as I heard about it, I put on pre-release. On pre-order. Because this is something that means quite a lot to me. And yeah, but then when I first pre-ordered it, the first pre-order I did, the company that I did it through, and I can't remember who it was now, but they just cancelled it. They just said we can't get it, and I was like, well, that's stupid because it's not due for release until the summer. So I looked and I found an alternative pre-order, and actually this is unusually, it's with a group in the UK who are like a comic book chain. It's not a normal place I'd go for decks, but I was just searching and found it, and it was the best price, so I put a pre-order in. And then the date kept shifting, and I thought, oh, this is going to get cancelled again, and I was getting a bit frustrated. But then it has arrived today. It's my Labyrinth Terror. I have been so excited for this. Labyrinth is one of my all-time most favourite films ever. I have watched it so many times. I adore the film. I love the music. When I first got a CD player, when I was at university, I got a stereo with a CD player, and this was one of the first CDs. So I've had the CD of the soundtrack for years and years and years, and I absolutely love this film. Means, I don't know why, it just means a lot to me. So this, when I realised there was a deck, was going to be important, because even if nothing else, to me, the images mean something. It is much bigger than I was expecting. I don't know why. When I saw it online, I just figured, oh, it would be like a sort of smallish tuck size box. It's really substantial. This is quite heavy. Sorry, I'm just looking at the front and how, I don't know if anyone can see. I'll just show you. Look at how good that representation is of David Bowie. I'm not sure about Sarah. She's not quite the same, but yeah. And you've got the owl here. So if you don't know the film, Labyrinth starred David Bowie as the Goblin King. And basically the girl wishes her step-brother away, and the Goblin takes him, and she has to fight her way through the labyrinth to retrieve him. And she meets all these characters along the way. I'd highly recommend it. It's a Jim Henson film, so lots of amazing puppetry work, fantastic music, yeah, and David Bowie in some quite tight trousers, it has to be said. Yeah, so this has just arrived. I'm really excited. So let's have a look inside very quickly. Normally, I get decks and they sit and I wait and I open them, but I can't do that today. I'm so excited. I've got space to sit on the sofa. It's got the little, so one of the scenes, as I say, probably if you haven't watched Labyrinth you won't know, but this is a little character that has a very small part, but it's a very cute part in the film. Each of these appear somewhere in the film, and some of them, these, like for example, are just a little part of the labyrinth, but you kind of remember them. These guys become Sarah's friends. Ludo, he is the best ever, just saying. Yeah, So Secrets of the Labyrinth, forward by Brian Froud, who was an artist and designer on the original film. It's actually being done in conjunction with the Jim Henson Company, so that's really nice because it's obviously, you know, I know I think there was some problems with copywriting when they first talked about it, and I think that's why it came off pre-order. So the box, it's got a beautiful purple inside the box. And then you've got a nice pull cord and the deck. Oh, and what's really nice is, so there's a plastic wrapper on the outer box, but there's no plastic on the inner, which I think is really lovely. I'm very aware of, you know, things being wrapped in so much stuff lately. Not too big a size deck. So although the box is substantial, it's got like a stripy inner. This stripy, the baby wears a stripy bodysuit. So that's really cool, and it's got like a labyrinth on the side of the box. So these cards are really nice, actually. They're kind of matte. They're not sticky. Backs. Now these backs are not reversible, actually. So I don't know if you can see. So they're not reversible. Oh no, hang on. No, they're not, because you've got a blue and a red. So they've not made it fully reversible. But having said that, because I don't think at a quick glance, because of the nature of the design around and the colour, I think that you wouldn't necessarily see it was reversed. And to be honest, when I'm shuffling at the moment, cards go flipping backwards, forwards, upside down, round the corner, so it doesn't matter to me too much. And I smelling the deck. Don't know what the smell tells you. So there's no gilding or anything, but hey, that's not a problem. So this is a mass market deck, so it wasn't hugely expensive. As I say, I got it for a good pre-order price from a company in the UK. So for those in the UK, I actually got it, as I say, from this comic book company, Forbidden Planet. And the cards are absolutely beautiful. What I really like is quite a vintage feel, actually. It's kind of got a wood grain. Now it has got a border. So for those of you who are not fans of borders, it does have a little bit of a border, and to be honest, if you modified it, I think you would impact on the back design. I don't think there's enough space to take the border off without affecting the design, so that's something to consider. I do know from hearing what other people have said that the suits are slightly pippish, but with a little bit of style, so that's going to be interesting. For me, I think for me, part of this is just the artwork and the fact that it's Labyrinth. So I'm not going to do flick through of all the cards with you. I think, so David Bowie as the Goblin King is the magician. So as I say, if you haven't seen the film, it probably won't mean a lot to you, but I would highly recommend it. I think that it's going to be a good reflection of the film. So I know there's a couple of decks out there where people have said, you know, they say that they're from Labyrinth or a film, and then actually they're very poorly related. But I think because this has got like the so this guy here is Hoggle, and he becomes her friend, but he's a very key character. He's a puppet character, but he's key. So yeah, so you've got the dancers instead of the lovers. There's and there's a scene that relates to. So as I say, I don't think that you would understand the relationship with the film, and I think that if you don't know the film, you probably wouldn't necessarily. So for example, they've used this character as the Empress. So for somebody looking at that straight away, you'd be like, who's that? What's that? Now that's her stepmom. And that's interesting actually, because I'm not sure that I put her as the Empress in my head, but I'm going to read about it and see. So yeah, so unless you knew the characters, so this here with the lovers, so they've called it the dancers. So if you didn't know the film and you looked and you said, right, that's number 6, and if I'm talking, you know, Rider-Waite Tarot, that should be the lovers, but how does that relate? in the film, this scene is a scene where sorry, it's not focusing, where Sarah, who's looking for her baby stepbrother, she or half brother, she falls into a dream, and in the dream she's dancing with David Bowie, they're both masked. It's like a masked ball, and the song is kind of quite "I'm falling for you" and stuff. So I know that the connotation of the relationship. Whereas if you don't know the film, you probably wouldn't. The Hermit. So again, this guy is a particular character in the film and has a particular role to play. It's only a small role, but as the Hermit. Yeah, so in the film, she uses lipstick to mark the way, and their little characters turn them around, and it's basically saying, you know, which way you're going to go, take your luck, take your chance. So that's quite really good. So I think they've done really well at kind of deciding again. If you looked at that card for justice without knowing the film, you wouldn't totally understand it. I get it. When she's in this scene, she has to make a decision which way to go. Balance, justice, she weighs it up, I think. Could be wrong. That I don't know about. You see, this is it, isn't it? It's really hard to understand sometimes why people choose certain cards. I'm loving these cards. So the majors are really cool. The majors basically use a lot of the major characters from the film. And then for the minors, we've got Ace, we've got Poles, Junk, Feathers, and what on earth are they? Pots, so completely different. So kept with the standard court card names, although in the deck they're currently back to front. So you've got, oh, they're in front of them, that's why. So here's the Junk. So you've got a page, you've got a knight of Junk, you've got, again, scenes from the film. So each of the court cards is illustrated by the film. But the other minors are, and they're labelled. Okay, so the Junk cards are a bit weird, because to me, I wonder if the Junk are them pentacles because the material. I haven't even looked at the guidebook yet, so I'm going to look in a minute so we can find out. So interestingly, you're going to get Junk cards that look sort of completely different. So those are different to that. So those are 3 of the Junk cards. So interesting decision there. But then it seems to build up from the first 2. I don't get that. Feathers is beautiful. The King of Feathers is the owl. Again, that's an important character. Okay, so this is going to be interesting. So my first impression is that there are some beautiful representations. There's some beautiful artwork. It's obviously been endorsed. It's obviously been thought through. But there's some interesting things going on in the minors, even for a pip deck. It's a pip deck with a difference. So I'm just going to have a look at the guidebook and see what sort of things. So the guidebook itself has got a colour page and just a page on each with an upright reversed, and actually it tells you a little bit about the character. So that's good. It does relate it to the character. So let's see what's going on here. The minor, let's have a look at the start and see if I can work out what's going on. Understand it. Oh, here we go. So the 4 suits are poles, junks, feathers and pots, which represent wands. So poles are wands, junk is pentacles, which is what I thought. Feathers are swords. Air, yes? Yeah, that makes sense, doesn't it? So the poles is easy enough associated with wands. The junk and pentacles, that's, I can cope with that because it's like material things, isn't it? The swords and the feathers works, and cups and pots works. So they're quite cleverly done. Interesting as well is that in the guidebook and in the pack when you get it, the court cards come ahead of the 1 to 10 minors. So that's interesting. So it seems back to front and upside down in my... Interesting. So this is really cool. they've got a couple of little spreads at the back that relate. Oh, cool. So the spreads at the back relate to the film again. So there's a comment in the film, things aren't always what they seem. So that's got a spread related to it. You have no power over me is a very important line. There's a spread related to that. The door knocker's conundrum. So there's 2 door knockers that feature, and they have an important role again. And it's a choice, and the spread is about a choice. So that might be quite nice. The book's lovely. It's got really nice matte pages, actually. It's a really nice feel. This is quite tactile. I really like cards and books like this. So I have unboxed my Labyrinth. I am really pleased I bought it because, as I say, I really adore Labyrinth. So even if I just keep looking through the pictures, I can cope with that. It's going to be really interesting to get to know it. The only downside, as I said in my video yesterday, is that I seem to have acquired a lot of decks in the last few weeks and have not got corresponding time. So what I'm trying to do is sort of not buy too many more for now. But yeah, that's an aside. So that's just me opening the Labyrinth Tarot that I've been waiting for so long. And I think, you know, decide for yourself, have a look at some other walkthroughs. If you'd like me to do, I can do a very quick flip through of the cards at a later date. If people are trying to decide or they want to see a particular card, let me know. I'll probably try and do an interview with it, maybe try out a couple of the spreads, maybe record those just so you can see how it works. So I say it's really nicely produced deck. It's by a different company, Titan Books. Nice, quite substantial, but it should be lovely. I'm going to leave it there because the dog is about to bark again. Take care, everybody. Keep safe. Look after yourselves.